day 2 stages, you know, we're starting to see those standings solidify, but here are our players shuffling up for our game. Gino, Pili with that Lille regional top 32, and that was with Rapid Strike Inteleon, which he's representing again today. Such a fantastic record with that deck.
Yeah, some good accomplishments there. So we can now reveal the decks. We've got Roaring Moon against Rapid Strike, and it is the Professor Sada's Vitality version of Roaring Moon, the one that I mentioned in the open. We've seen it played with Lost Zone. That is one of the ways to play it. This is the, it feels weird saying this for a set that's been out a few weeks, but the more traditional way to play it. You're playing Dark Patch and Professor Sada's Vitality, and this isn't like the Lost Zone. With the Lost Zone, you're going for the early Cramorant and then building up into Roaring Moon. This is a one where you go fast, and you've got like one Morpeko, and that's about it. You don't trade well with single prizes. Not such a big deal in this matchup.
Yeah, here we see the prizes coming down as well. 2 Professor Sada's Vitality for Luigi as well. That's going to be quite detrimental. We know how important it is to have these explosive turns with this Roaring Moon variant. Fantastic to see as well on the top stages, by the way. But we're starting here with Gino. Let's see what he has in his starting turns. Here we see the Earthen Vessel come down, starting with those water energies out. Ever important in this deck to be able to use that double gunner ability on the Inteleon VMAX.
Yeah, that Earthen Vessel is a great card. We got out of Paradox Rift, lets you discard a card from your hand to search for 2 basic energy. And it is nominally a card for ancient Pokemon, but it's one of those ones that's really just a great utility, and we see it coming in a whole bunch of different decks. There's nothing that limits it to being played with ancient decks, and any deck that needs to get basic energy out, it is phenomenal. So we've got Luigi, Vezzoni, and Gino Pili here. And yeah, this one's going to be a fun matchup. And for Luigi, I'm just thinking there's some tasty free prize VMAXs, and Roaring Moon one-hit KOs anything.
And I think what's important here for Luigi is that these Roaring Mooniacs... Oh, and it's just a pass from Gino, just the Remoraid in the active. Luigi might be able to even take the donk here if he has the cards to do it. Does have the Town Store, able to maybe get...
he doesn't even need much. He can do it with Morpeko.
Yeah, he can do it with Morpeko even, if he's able to find a couple of switch outs. Here we see the Trekking Shoes opting to take another Trekking Shoes, certainly trekking up the deck here. And here we see Town Store hitting the discard pile. Another Professor Sada Vitality, I think, has another Trekking Shoes in the hand as well. Really ripping through the deck here.
It really is. We're looking for free energy on a Galarian Moltres V, but remember the ability Dire Flame Wings can get one from the discard. Free energy on a Roaring Moon, which is going to be more difficult with Professor Sada's Vitality prize, or 2 energy on a Morpeko, and that would get the win. The easiest route here, switch Morpeko to the bench, attach Dark Patch, get it back to the active, and then get a KO on that Remoraid. It is absolutely possible here.
Yeah, of course, and here we see the Battle VIP Pass getting that Moltres, as we mentioned. Squawkabilly so important here to have that explosive turn, get these energies into the discard pile, activating your Professor Sada, activating your Dark Patch as well. So important for this archetype. Does Town Store for the Forest Seal Stone as well. It's going really well at the moment for Luigi.
Luigi's got an access to a lot of cards here. You're going to get a new hand of 6 with Squawk and Seas. You haven't used your supporter yet, and you can cherry pick any card you like with a Forest Seal Stone. There is a decent chance this is going to work. Yeah,
of course. I think the hand is quite awkward, though. I think I saw 2 Professor Sada's Vitality.
And there's 2
fantastic.
prized.
Yeah, Ultra Ball as well. I think I got rid of the Dark Energy as well there. Just activating, of course, like we said, the Dark Patches, and also the Sada's Vitality, maybe even going for a turn 1 Vitality here before using the Squawk and Seas. Could be an option here for Luigi.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. You just need to draw a couple of cards. Now, you have, and there is, you absolutely called it there, Ben. It was going on to the Roaring Moon. I kind of like this play. Now, obviously, it's the only one it can go on to, but you're just setting up different attackers.
So all he needs here is an energy switch and an energy, and is able to use the Morpeko for a donk here.
Yes, now that is the other one we didn't get around to mentioning yet. The energy switch will absolutely work. You don't have to get the Morpeko to the bench in Dark Patch. Energy switch, energy will work, and we do have Forest Seal Stone in play, so he only needs one of them.
Yeah, of course. And
energy there's an energy.
I think with that Vessel, opting to go for the Galarian Moltres, but we'll use the Squawk and Seas here as well. and with the V-Star is able to use the Dark Patch. Morpeko free retreats, hits the Dark Patch as well.
I think that might be it. Morpeko does have free retreat due to having no energy on due to the ability. There is the third energy there, and we see him
energy switch onto, hits the energy switch.
And then an energy switch back, and that is going to be the KO with Roaring Moon. We didn't see which attack was used. I'm 90% sure it was Frenzied Gouging for the KO.
Yes, of course. Luigi had a number of options available to him there to take the knockout on that poor little Remoraid in the start. But this is exactly what Roaring Moon does, Ross. Exactly what it does. It does what it says on the tin, so to speak.
Well, it's a moon that roars.
It's a moon that roars. I can't really say anything else. But having those explosive turns, capitalizing on those poor starts from a number of these decks.
You're absolutely right, Ben. This is why I love this build of the deck. Yeah. I like playing fast, aggressive decks. That has been my MO for the past many years. This is the new deck that I like playing with, this and Miraidon, because they have that ability to go fast. Do need to point out, if this was a Lost Zone variant, could still have done that with a Cramorant, for instance, but let's not worry about that. Let's worry about, and then here's the thing. Look at how many energy got on the board turn one. We saw a Professor Sada, we saw Dark Patch, we saw Energy Switch, we saw Squawk and Seize. A lot of stuff was done for Luigi turn one going second there. There's a lot of actions.
Energy just goes flying with this deck, right? You're discarding a lot, you're getting a lot back with the Dark Patch and the Galarian Moltres V as well, with the Sada's Vitality. There are a lot of options for Luigi to manipulate your energy across the board. Gino, gonna be hoping to just get set up in this game, but thinking about this matchup as well, quite awkward for Urshifu, I would say. The numbers not quite right for Urshifu to be capitalizing early on, I would say.
No, it's hard in the early game. One thing I've got my eye on, though, we know that the Roaring Moon does 200 damage to itself, leaves itself with 30 HP remaining. So you've got stuff like Double Gunner to drop damage counters. What you can potentially do is either leave it so that the Roaring Moon KOs itself, or, of course, when the Roaring Moon takes a KO, that puts it into really easy Yoga Loop territory there. So there are a couple different things Gino can do to try and keep the Roaring Moon in check, because that's the only real way you're KOing these big free prize VMAXs.
Yeah, Gino opting to go second there as well, only starting the Squawkabilly, which is, again, quite an unfortunate start.
One Medicham, there's only one in the deck and it's prized.
And those prizes for Luigi, I talk about it all the time. Hey, Luigi, you like energy? Well, it's in your prizes, unfortunately. There's 4 dark in the prize cards for Luigi, so might be harming, his consistency going into this game.
Might be?
Yeah, might be, Ross, might be.
Plays also, 10.
Yeah, and 2 Earthen Vessel as well. You know, of course, 6 available to him in the deck, but, you know, that 4 might come out clutch here for Luigi.
It genuinely is going to be hard. One of the things we need is to get energy in the discard because of your Professor Sada's Vitality, because of your Dark Patch, because of your Galarian Moltres ability. And if you've got the Earthen Vessel and 4 of your 10 energy in the prizes, that is going to make it a lot more difficult to access. Now, we do get one turn one. Obviously, Greninja discarding it with concealed cards is great. Then we see an energy switch onto Roaring Moon, and let's just say it's a good thing that this is turn one going first.
Yeah, let's just say that. Luigi with a really optimal start here. Town Store as well, coupled up with the Forest Seal Stone, would go quite nicely here for this initial setup. Maybe even keeping it for the later game. Can of course go for an Ancient Energy Booster Capsule, but yeah, goes for the Forest Seal Stone. Star Alchemy, always a fantastic way to get yourself out of a tricky situation, and Luigi seeing the value in that. Attaching it to the Galarian Moltres V. And now you can imagine a Squawk and Seize coming out for Luigi and hoping for just as an explosive start as he had in the previous game.
Yeah, you said it a second ago, Ben, that Gino's not putting a lot of early game pressure on with this deck. No. It's a deck that needs a turn to evolve up into its VMAXs to really start doing lots of damage, which means that Luigi can set up this Roaring Moon here, knowing that it's pretty gosh darn safe, but also saying to Gino, like, hi. And here's the thing, right? If you don't evolve into the free prize VMAXs, well, actually, Calamity Storm is really good against those Pokemon V if they don't evolve, and then you don't take any south damage. So Luigi's got a great option here to basically just start KOing everything Gino's got.
Yeah, and I really like this attachment of Bravery Charm on the Squawkabilly. Squawkabilly may have been quite an easy couple of prizes to take for the Urshifu. You know, with that G-Max Rapid Flow, it's quite a low HP count of 160, and of course, being a two-prizer, it is vulnerable for Luigi, and Gino may have been able to take a couple of prizes on that, but not now, not now.
It's actually really easy, because you do 120 with your Urshifu. All you need now is one double gunner. Use Radiant Alakazam to move all the damage that's been done onto the Squawkabilly. So, yeah, that Bravery Charm, it's really easy to KO Squawkabilly in this deck. It's good play. We're back over to Gino, and needs a better turn one than last time. And honestly, starting Squawkabilly, it's not terrible, but you certainly don't want it in the active.
No, you certainly don't. It's a really vulnerable two-prizer. Of course, Luigi is going to be hoping to go for a 3-3 game plan, and what I mean by that is taking out 2 VMAX consecutively, and that is going to be an option because Gino is being forced, essentially, to evolve into those Inteleon VMAXs. Double Gunner is going to be really important in this matchup, as you said earlier. A lot of awkward HP counts here, especially when you coupled up the 230 and then boosted again by 60 with the Ancient Energy Booster Capsule. So Gino's, it's a lot more of an intricate game plan for Gino here. And here we see the Nest Ball. And we actually, incidentally, we spoke about this earlier. The Inteleon Urshifu is very... it's very intricate in those starting couple of turns. You really need an explosive start. You need to get your Battle VIP passes down. You need to set up optimally in order to get your game plan up and running. Yeah. So here we see Gino using the Ultra Ball there. Already had the Nest Ball for the Remoraid. Imagine evolving into an Octillery pretty quick, fast. Here we see the Ultra Ball for the Urshifu V. Of course, the primary attacker in this deck.
Yeah, I saw Joe play against Freya the other night, and Joe was playing against Iron Valiant, so wasn't able to get the Octillery out. This deck is so different if you don't have access to that Rapid Strike Search every turn. It becomes a significantly worse deck. Gino actually taking advantage of Luigi's Town Store there. Of course, Stadium cards do work for both players at the same time. Going and getting that Forest Seal Stone of their own, so that's going to give them the chance to search for any card they want here, or well, any turn in the future.
Yeah, I really like this play, you know, taking advantage of what's on the board. Of course, Town Store, quite an easy option for Gino to just pick out a Forest Seal Stone. Of course, Star Alchemy is going to be really important, especially in this turn where Gino's going to be looking to get set up as quickly as possible. It's really interesting, of course, you know, has the Rapid Strike energy, but not seeing the value in that at the moment. Attaching to the Squawkabilly will give you a retreat option now. Maybe retreating into the Remoraid as a sacrifice, because of course it is an easy 2 prizes for Luigi to take here.
Yeah, you said about Luigi going for a free prize map. That is absolutely possible. But if Luigi's ready to take prizes next turn, you can switch that up a little bit. You can go after, you know, a 2, a 3, and a 1, or a bunch of 2s. And that obviously opens up potential KOs with smaller Pokemon. So you're not rushing to... And like I say, you know, because you do so much self-damage of Frenzied Gouging, if you can take some of those prizes with your Calamity Storm or with your Galarian Moltres or whatever, then that does sometimes make it a little easier. Because, yeah, Frenzied Gouging will take 3 prizes, but against a deck that drops so many damage counters and, well, it's prized, but normally has access to Yoga Loop, that can be a little bit awkward. But you were absolutely right, Ben. We do see a pass with Remoraid in the active, so now it's over to Luigi. Are we going to see any kind of gusting? Because, I mean, how much do you really want to KO the Remoraid? Maybe with Morpeko, honestly.
Yeah, I still don't mind it. It still puts Luigi on a 3 attack game, basically, taking out a VMAX and a V and the Remoraid. Will still give him the 6 prizes he needs to take the game. Gino's still in quite an awkward position, because it puts him in a way that he needs to take multiple prizes in one turn in order to take advantage of the prize race. We see a concealed cards here.
I do just want to add, of course, Morpeko, obviously a good Yoga Loop target.
Yes.
We know Yoga Loop's not an option right now. Yeah. Luigi doesn't know that, so that would make that a slightly risky play. And here's the free energy onto the Roaring Moon. And now there's 2 Remoraid down to an escape rope here. If they were played, which they're not in the deck, wouldn't do any good. There are 2 bosses' orders. Can we see some gusting here?
I don't mind just taking out the Remoraid, because you're not needing to use Frenzy Gouging. You mentioned earlier about putting the 200 damage on yourself. You know, maybe not wanting to use that option, keeping the 3 energy on the Ooh,
here is a Lumineon for the boss's
going
orders.
for the aggressive style.
Everything you're saying, Ben, I absolutely agree
Yeah.
with. Taking out this one prize, and it opens up a 1-2-3 prize map, which is going to be on the board. There's a Squawkabilly there as a 2-prizer, so there's always going to be a week 2 prizer available. But Luigi apparently channeling his inner Ross here, going, you know what, I want to go fast, and I love this, taking out the only Urshifu on the field, and the one that's got that Forest Seal Stone on, which has obviously been used. But still, it's the only Urshifu on the field, and I like this. I like this very much indeed. This is a deck, and I know there are better ways to play it sometimes, but you have that option to just go Super Broom, and I love it.
Not even needing to use Frenzy Gouging either. Taking out the Urshifu is technically the only threat, really, for Luigi. Is unable, well, Gino's going to be able to take prizes with Inteleon VMAX, with GMAX Spiral, but it puts him in an awkward position now because obviously, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is an evolved Pokemon, so at some point he's going to have to put down another Urshifu if he wants to be able to use the Urshifu VMAX, of course. Here we see a double gunner coming down. I'm just interested to see where he's been placing this. Yeah, the Lumineon is a great option here. It's a very low HP Pokemon, 170, now down to 150, slowly approaching the GMAX rapid flow numbers that Gino's required in order to take multiple prizes in one turn. So I like this play.
It's a good play, but I'm going to build on something you said a second ago, that there's only one bench space, which means you can only play one Urshifu. And if I'm Luigi, I'm doing everything I can. If that Urshifu hits the bench, I'm doing everything I can to KO it, so then my opponent has no good attackers. And one of the best things about playing a Roaring Moon deck is when you're down to 1 KO remaining, because you can just go, oh, I literally have an attack that can KO anything. Yes. I love being in that position. So there's only 2 boss in the deck and one's been played. It's going to be awkward, but you kind of have to try and go for an Urshifu this turn. And if Luigi can gust and KO it, that is going to be so awkward. Yeah,
this is really not great for Gino. Unable to find the Octillery, so it's unable to attack this turn. Can't find any Rapid Strike energy, didn't draw into it with the research, so it's going to be just having to manually attach a water energy. And now this Inteleon VMAX.
That's a pass, Ben.
Yeah, and it's looking like a great frenzied gouging option now for Luigi. The VMAX, such a tasty option for Luigi to take in order to take 3 prizes.
Oh, and then, yeah, I mean, he's just set up another Roaring Moon. It is that checkmate scenario we keep calling out here. If you can frenzied gouging for 3 prizes, you know it's going down afterwards. It's not difficult, right? But if you can take that out while leaving a Roaring Moon with enough energy onto attack, you just don't care.
No, of course.
I love that. Oh, he's got the V-Star. I want... It's a Professor Sada. I love the idea of this. You can search any card you want. And now you could have gone boss on the Squawk. That seems a little bit greedy here. I love this idea because essentially you're just building up for the future. Now, if he's got an energy switch here, that would be awesome, because obviously he's going to over-energy potentially the active here if he plays a Sada.
I think going for the Sada onto the benched Roaring Moon will set up that checkmate play that you were talking about earlier. So in getting those 2 Roaring Moon available now, you're only needing 4 prize cards to take the game. So having 2 attackers now will give Luigi, you know, the satisfaction, I suppose, of having those 2 attackers ready in order to take the game. I like taking the 3 prizes because it puts an escape rope play as an option, because of course you only need 1 prize remaining.
Yep.
Squawkabilly still a great option as well, but going for the safe play, which I think is the Sada, and the Dark Patch coming down onto that Roaring Moon on the bench.
So you have an energy switch, because if you play Sada, you can put an energy to the active and to the bench Roaring Moon. Energy on the active does nothing. A 4th energy is completely irrelevant, but if can be combined with an energy switch would be relevant, but no, it looks like we just get into 1 energy there. Haven't used attachment for the turn yet.
No.
So a basic energy. Oh, there is an energy
switch.
Dark
Patch as well.
Oh, but he didn't get the energy. But there was a Dark Patch, but I don't think he's got energy in the discard.
Well, in order to use the Dark Patch as well, you will need kind of a retreat here as an option for next turn if Gino is ever able to take a knockout on this Roaring Moon in the active. That energy booster capsule so vital here, because even a double gunner not taking a knockout, it wouldn't anyway. However, it does limit Gino's options here quite a bit.
No, it gives an extra 60 HP and means you can't be affected by special conditions. So the one in the active doesn't have one. Oh, wait, no, it does have one. It's hidden quite nicely, but it is there. So it has actually got a little more HP than we would usually expect. It's got 90 HP remaining. So I don't see how Gino comes back from this.
No, me neither. Unable to take multiple prizes in one turn is not what Gino would have asked for. Just looking for the Octillery there. Knowing that Luigi is only on one prize card as well. We know that Gino doesn't really have any single prize attackers anyway, but it puts Gino, like we said before, in this checkmate scenario where Luigi can easily take the game next turn.
And I've got bad news for Gino. There's no Roxanne in the deck. There's 2 Iono, so you really need to be going for one of those 2 Iono. It's not always the easiest to find. And this was a professor's research, so it's not coming out. So Luigi's got access to his hand, which does have a Dark Patch in. So Energy would win the game, a Switch would win the game.
Unable again to find Rapid Strike Energy, but still does have the Octillery. Can evolve 2 Octillery here as well, which is great. Does have, of course, the energy already attached. So the Water Energy will do it, so can use GMAX Spiral. That's not a problem for Gino. We'll be able to take the knockout on this Roaring Moon EX, but it's the Roaring Moon EX on the bench, which is the biggest threat for Gino. It's going to be hoping... Of course, you said earlier about the Roxanne. He would have loved a Roxanne, put Luigi down to 2 cards, but without any sort of hand disruption, Luigi is going to have maximum options here to be able to find the Dark Energy for the Frenzy Gouging.
And I mean, that's it for Gino right now, right? It is literally just, I hope my opponent whiffs. I hope my opponent gets nothing. There is a scenario here where where Luigi misses for like a turn or 2, and then Luigi's able to take a couple of prizes and leave the Roaring Moon so it can't use Frenzied Gouging without creating
and he sorry, Rossi just top deck the Dark Energy for the Frenzied Gouging, and Luigi able to take the game here in our round 13 of day 2, putting Roaring Moon on the map.